After 30 months, the Fort Erie Film Circuit is back in business, presenting Monday Night at the Movies starting October 31st. Kathryn Rogers joins us. Kathryn, your first film, a Canadian film, Scarborough. Why did you choose this film?
Well, our group, our committee, the Fort Erie Film Circuit, we choose our films as a group. And we wanted to highlight Canadian films that showed a diversity of views. So Scarborough, as the name implies, is set in Scarborough, Ontario. So we felt that this was a very local film, and we wanted to highlight a Canadian filmmaker with Canadian actors. So that was the main reason we chose Scarborough. Plus, it's a very, very good film.
You are a retired librarian. You've
Yes.
worked in Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga even, so you're probably familiar with Scarborough itself a little bit.
Yes.
Is this film true to the spirit of that, I guess, suburb of Toronto?
Well, from what I know of Scarborough, and most of it is from driving through that suburb, yes, it's very gritty, and it is focused on one particular street in Scarborough, and you see stores and signs that are very Canadian, and yes, it definitely evokes that whole spirit, that whole atmosphere of Scarborough. And it's also a highly diverse community with very many different groups and ethnic groups living there, and that becomes very, very obvious in the film.
Now, I haven't seen the film. I've read the book, which I brought with me
Excellent.
here, just to flip through and remind myself about what some of it is about. But it is about the struggle of these young kids, and they're very young kids, early education. Some of
That's
them coming
right.
from grade 1 and grade 2, going into this early years center as almost childcare and struggling with identity, struggling with, I guess, the budget that is being funneled into this early years center as well.
And these children are also struggling personally. Each one has a challenging family life, and it shows through the children's eyes how they respond and how they cope with these situations. And this comes through in how they relate to one another at the early childhood center. And they have a very empathetic teacher called Miss Hina. And through games and snacks and gentle prodding, she tries to bring out their true personalities, create a safe environment where they can just be kids and enjoy themselves. But when they go back home, you see their challenges and you become very empathetic to their particular situations.
This was an award-winning TIFF film, and I know the Fort Erie Film Circuit is one of, I think, 180 film circuits
That's correct.
linked to TIFF. How did that start?
Well, it started back in 1989, and somebody thought, hey, it's great that there are all these wonderful films at the Toronto International Film Festival.
But people in Fort Erie and Niagara can't always get there.
That's right, and all across the country. And also, even if they could get there, it's very expensive in terms of hotels and the fees for each movie. So somebody thought, well, why don't we bring these good films to the people in their communities? And so it took off because, of course, everybody wants to see great filmmaking. And it's also a very positive way of promoting films that don't normally get into the large Cineplex type theaters because they're not blockbuster type films. They're sometimes small budget films, or they have a more narrow appeal. And so it's a way to see a different kind of film in a local context.
Your venue locally is the Meridian Center for the Arts at Greater Fort Erie Secondary School. How did that relationship come about?
Well, it started before the new Greater Fort Erie Secondary School opened. I visited the principal, Fred Lowes, and he thought it was a wonderful idea. He was immediately enthusiastic and very supportive. So the school opened up in 2017, and we had our first screening in September of 2018.
500 seats, really comfortable, high tech, everything's just works to your advantage?
It is absolutely beautiful. The seats are tiered, so everyone has a great view of the screen. The screen is enormous. It is accessible. There's space for wheelchairs to just wheel up and watch. And it is also part of a beautiful high school. Outside in the lobby, we have the local coffee shop, the Crystal Ball Cafe from Crystal Ridge. And the owner there, Robin, she brings coffee and treats.
Beautiful.
So that people can have, our audience members can treat themselves and have a coffee before coming in to see the movie.
Kathryn, tickets are $10. How
That's
do people
correct.
get tickets? Do they buy on the night of?
That's right. We have our box office set up in the hallway outside the theatre. And as you said, $10 a ticket. We have not raised our prices post-pandemic. And also there is a deal, 3 tickets for $25.
For the whole series?
Well,
Part
for
of the whole
any,
series.
yes, because we have 8 films per season. And what we find is that most of our audience members, they go away at some point. So they can't commit to all 8, but they can commit to 3, or they will buy 3 for a couple, and then they'll have another extra ticket for a friend.
Thanks for the information, Kathryn. Scarborough is on October 31st, Greater Fort Erie Secondary School. Thanks for joining us.
And thank you.